Welcome to the SurveyTester experience. My name is Bernard Witt from 2x4. I want to show you today some details about how SurveyTester can work with multilingual projects. So when your project, your survey uses multiple languages, it's a very special way that SurveyTester can support you. We have very often landing pages like these. These are pages where the respondent can select a language before they move on. So if you select Spanish, for example, go next, you see it in Spanish. And if you select Chinese and go next, you would see the text in Chinese. Now SurveyTester now supports not only the languages itself, but also can now connect to landing pages or questions like the language selection question you have just seen. So let me create a new project inside SurveyTester, and this is called Museums of New York Language Demo. It's a dimensions project, but all the other types are supported as well indeed. My default language is English, and so I'm selecting this here, and my classification field set is just my default as well. Initially, SurveyTester doesn't know anything about your survey, so this page here is not known to SurveyTester. That means when I want to use this page as a language selector, I need to have an initial first test run before you can move on. Now, before I'm doing that, indeed, I need to add a URL, and I just copied that URL from my survey. So I have two options here. Either I can use a manual test or an automatic test. For this example, I'm doing a manual test because I really only need this survey question. I only need that first page, so I can exit from there. And now SurveyTester knows this page. It knows its name and what the structure is. Now, next step would be to go to my project languages, and from here I can now select my question name, language. This is exactly the name that I have used for that first page. Now, next thing is I have, for example, English here already defined, and now I can select what category I want to use for English. Now, this is this one. So I'm connecting basically now the language with my category name. I need to do that obviously for all the languages I want to support, but to make my life a little bit easier, I have defined already a language set, which is called Museum of New York Standard Languages. So I'm loading this set, and now I have all the languages which I need for this kind of project available. You can do that set on your own instead of doing it manually or doing that definition manually. Now, the only thing I need to do is, because this is not stored in my set, is I need to select my categories of the language page. So here I have Chinese, and then I need to have Korean. So this is here. I need to have Hong Kong Chinese. This is that one. And then I need to use Thai. It's a quick walkthrough, and at a later version of probably with the next version, we will store also the categories inside the set to make it easier for you to repeat things. Sorry, it was Japanese. Okay, and now we are done. So this connects now the language question with the given category names with the languages, and that gives us a lot of possibilities. First of all, when I'm selecting a test survey, so when I'm doing a test survey and I say, for example, I want to test in Chinese, and I do a manual test, I start with an automatic test. SurveyTester knows what the option for the first question would need to be to make only Chinese tests. The next thing what I can do is I can use, for example, Thai and do a manual test, and I go there. Now, whenever I'm doing a manual or an automatic test run, the auto answer is now fixed connected to that Thai language, to that answer option here. So if I'm going auto next, I'm in my Thai mode. So I can just walk through, and this is pretty quickly done. So just make sure I have all the possible answers there. Okay, that's the last question, and I can go back. And from here we are seeing that with our test runs, I have now, this one is Thai. Now the others are Chinese. So we are here basically having already some test runs done now. Another option would be if I go to test survey and do a manual test, and initially I have selected English, so you can check this, English is selected, but here I can also change my mind and say, no, I want to have Spanish now. And if I'm going next, and from here you see Spanish, but I'm doing auto next. You remember this is connected to English, this test run. But because I've selected Spanish, internally we will reconnect to Spanish from here. And you can see that, so that the last test run now is also done in Spanish. Now, obviously, if you go there and if you look to the labels a la entrada or no respondió, here in Chinese it's something different, and in Thai it's again something different. Obviously that is matching the things. But if I'm looking to my pages and routings, there's some more options here. So if I'm looking, for example, to entrance, and I look to my screenshots from there, you see this is showing us, for example, a Thai screenshot. So this photo is still to be done. So let me check something else. I have a Spanish thing here. Yeah, entrada usada. And this makes sure that we have the right language setting here. Now coming back to Thai, it's still doing that. Possibly an iPhone is faster. Yeah. Okay. So this is the Thai screenshot for that. So this makes sure that everything is connected internally to the right piece of code. And that's really important. If you have multi languages in your survey, then make some extra minutes, do some extra work in the beginning with the project details and set up the languages. If you have always the same languages, for example, many customers have in Europe 27 same identical languages for specific project types, you can save this setting here and give it a name and reload it with other projects later. That's really helpful, and it allows SurveyTester to manage the service in the right way. Great. Good. Now, this was it for today, basically. Yes, if you have any questions about languages, SurveyTester, or testing surveys, please contact me at hello@2by4.de or go to our website www.2by4.de and send me a note what you think. Thank you for your time.